So we're going to go over what people believe that the boats are going to be. Maybe this might spark up some more ideas about what the Clash of Clans boat is really going to be hosting. So obviously we're going to have to start off with the leak of this image. Now if we translate this correctly, it says Second Village Night World of Extreme Speed. And yes, I did confirm it with my mom. Now we'll get back to the extreme part, but first I want to talk about like the classics or the get down of what people are saying that the boat's going to do. So one obvious thing that people have been preaching out is that the ship can give you some loot. Another thing is that it's going to be a night mode village. Now if we relate back to what I said the text translates to is Second Village Night World. So if you think about Second Village, it probably means another game mode of Clash of Clans. So maybe like you have a different kind of village where there are other troops of different capability. Now that is a possible update because it does say Second Village Night Mode. But at the same time, it could still be the same village, but just in night mode. But it doesn't really make sense to me because, you know, there's a ship right there. And when you think about a ship, you should think about ship being as traveling around. Another theory here is that the ship is actually going to be like a loot converter. So maybe you pay the ship to go out and explore around to find some loot. How it works is like maybe you pay 500 dark elixir and you get like 500,000 golden elixir, or maybe you pay 1,000,000 gold for 1,000 dark elixir, something like a resource converter kind of thing. Now personally, when I view that, I don't really agree with that idea. Now I know some people really think that this is reasonable or it's logical, but it just doesn't really sound right how you have to like give off gold or elixir or even dark elixir and then you get a different kind of resource. It just doesn't really make sense to me. It's just that feeling, like I can't explain it, but it just feels like Clash of Clans should not be like a game where they do resource kind of trading or exchange. Now here's one thing that I kind of hope Clash of Clans doesn't do, but it's kind of linking it to Boom Beach or Heyday. Now there's this one Clasharama episode where the skeleton was sent on a balloon to find more resources for the village. So if you really think about it, Clasharama is actually powered by Supercell, especially how when the Archer Queen said this.
Crystal, our clan is in desperate need of resources.
So that can just really tell us that maybe there's a secondary village, but the secondary village is only for resource benefits for the main village.
Most people look out at the sea and see nothing but emptiness. Me? I see
meaning that the second village is just really there to like farm up extra money or resource. Now I'm not really going to trust it too much though, but it is kind of evident though because Clasharama did kind of link it to Heyday and Boom Beach.
Land! Huh, no gold, no elixir, just hay and... Ew, is that manure? Look! All manner of things we've never seen before! Imagine the riches that will be ours when we conquer their primitive... Oh!
But I really hope that Clash of Clans really does not do that because, well, I mean, you can link it to Boom Beach, but not actually like the exact same thing as Boom Beach. Now, here's one thing to consider. Right now, the game is around 80 megabytes, but, you know, if you think about it, if Clash of Clans actually does add on to another village, it might even go up to 200 megabytes. Because if you really think about it, it's like secondary village. There's more data to store around the server. So I really don't think that's really the case. But it is really evident though. Once again, right, my only source is that Clasharama episode. So it is really evident that that could be a case, but I'm slightly on the disagree point for that, mainly because of the megabyte space. Now here's one that I think is kind of suited. So one thing that I really noticed about Clash of Clans and Clash Royale combined is that they are kind of copying each other. First of all, in Clash of Clans, we had all of the basic troops, you know, whatever, right? The Barbarian, Archer, the Giant, right? But then when Clash Royale first started, you know, the first few cards were the Giant, Archers, and Barbarians, right? Those were the common cards to get. And then, you know, as time progressed, right, we did have the Baby Dragon. And, well, guess what Clash of Clans got? A baby dragon. And you know, Clash of Clans did have a heal spell, and just recently Clash Royale just released a heal spell. So if you really think about it, it's really just going back and forth. So what I'm connecting now is that if Clash Royale has clan battles, well, what do you think Clash of Clans is going to do? Now I know it sounds like a long shot right here, but it's probably going to do something like this, where you can actually do some live gameplay mode, like player versus player action. You know, they're deploying their barbarians, golems, whatever, and you have to defend with some given troops. It's kind of like Bloons tower defense, except the monkeys, they can move around. So basically it's like someone deploys troops, you deploy troops. Kind of like Clash Royale, but you can deploy your troops anywhere. Kind of like that. It's kind of in the long shot, but you know, that's something that, you know, would sound kind of cool to me. That would sound like a little more reasonable than, you know, connecting it to Boom Beach or Heyday. Now, I know some of you guys might not like that idea, but I really think that, you know, live battle action where, you know, you can use troops to battle, I know it's like an exact ripoff of Clash Royale. You know, Clash Royale is kind of like in a refined arena, right? But Clash of Clans is like a broad area, right? So it does kind of make sense if you attack and then, you know, the defense person, you know, like can move around defenses or, you know, deploy troops. Now, as for the night mode, I'm not so sure, but here's what I think, okay? Now, back to what I was saying about the extreme speed. So if you think about it, it did say extreme speed and night mode. So what I'm thinking is that when it turns night mode in your time zone, the speed of collectors just suddenly boost up. Everything goes faster, maybe like 2 times faster, or building speed goes faster by like, no, Clash of Clans is never going to do that. They need the gems, right? They need the gems, okay? So they're not going to do that. I don't think the building time will speed up, but I think the resources might speed up because this update is probably going to boost up for loot. Now, one thing about this, right, since it's kind of focused on loot, that would obviously mean there's going to be more defense buildings or maybe a map size increase. I kind of hope there's a map size increase because I really find that the limitation of the map is probably going to die out soon. Alright, now here's another thing, okay? Now this one I really thought was evident until I found the translation of that Chinese traditional text. But anyway, what I thought was like the ship was like an extra clan castle. So that means like whenever you do a war attack or like a multiplayer attack, right? So, you know, you have your normal clan castle troop, but you can actually deploy a boat, which is the troops that you fill yourself, but you can only deploy it on the river. You cannot deploy it on the base, but you can deploy it on the river, and then the troops go to the shore and start attacking. Now, obviously, there's Patrick Star in that poster thingy, right? So I think it's like there's going to be a new trap called a Starfish Clamper. Maybe it like slows down troops or blinds troops, misguide them. Kind of like a directed spring trap kind of sort of deal. Now, I used to think that the boat would do some underground water thing, but you know, it's a boat, it's not a submarine. So if you have any ideas about some sort of water village underground, I don't think that's going to happen just yet. So we are aware about Clash of Clans night mode. Well, have we heard about Clash Royale releasing a night witch? I'm just saying. Maybe during nighttime or night mode in Clash of Clans, maybe the witch turns into night mode, night witch, dark witch. I have no idea. Just some sort of conspiracy. Yet again, it's kind of like that Clash of Clans and Clash Royale kind of linked things. Maybe the skeletons turn into bats or minions turn into bats. Now, I did mention this on my last video, but I did say something about Clash of Clans minigame. But when I read the Chinese traditional text, it actually meant different worlds. So, you know, that kind of mini game where you go fishing and maybe you can feed it to the barbarian king or archer queen to heal faster. Yeah, that probably is not the case. But it would be kind of cool if there's some sort of mini game that has to deal with the boat. So anyway, this is the moment where I draw up my conclusion. In conclusion, what I'm pretty much basing on that this update's going to be is that there's actually going to be a boat, which brings you to a second village. That's the place where you can actually do some live action battle with another clan or another person where, you know, you can move defenses around, but you can only defend, and then you let the other player use their troops to attack, and then, you know, vice versa, it switches halfway or something like that. You know, it's like round 1, they attack your place. Round 2, you attack their place. I kind of hope there's something like that. It does sound a little complicated, but it's something that I think that might happen. Sort of like Clash Royale, but you can only have defenses. You can move it around, you can dig it up. So I kind of think it's going to go into like a Bloons tower defense kind of game, or like a tower defense. You can use troops as well. If you understand what I mean, please just summarize it down in the comments below. I'll actually pin it. This video was more like serious. You can tell like I'm not actually goofy. Normally when I'm goofy, I'm kind of being like sarcastic, so you know, I'm not really being serious. But this video, I kind of want to be serious because I'm kind of curious how Clash of Clans is doing this. Anyway guys, if you guys want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Fill up the comments, give me oohs and ahs. Oh my gosh, I'm turning sarcastic, aren't I? Here's some ASMR. Clash of Clans, I ship that. You know, I was thinking something, right? After watching 2 commercials about the boat, right? So if it's only the hog rider and the wizard that's on a boat, I think that explains why there's a shipwreck in front of the Clash of Clans base. I get it now. It all makes sense. Hog riders and wizard are stupid. No, I'm just kidding, guys. The wizard ruins the game. Hog riders are cool though, but I hate the wizard. No clash pun intended. A clash pun. I trademark that word. And no one can use clash puns anymore. Just kidding. Only this CoC can.